Well, good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is the first segment on the morning report featuring my good friend, Dr. Gary Knight. We've said that we have to, if we're going to be in this battle for the long term, we're going to have to stay healthy. 2020 should have taught everybody that staying healthy is still the ultimate thing. So it isn't just a catchphrase of at least I got my health. No, you got to have your health. It shouldn't be at least I have my health. It should be I have my health. And in order to help everybody, myself included, along with that, um, Dr. Dr. Knight has agreed to do a segment on the program about health and wellness. Today, we're going to hit the high points. We're going to hit the high points. Now, later on, as this continues, we're going to break this down for people. We're going to give you a ways to get in touch with Dr. Knight if you want to, and really, really work on our health, because we all need to, no matter what age you are, if you're 20 or 60 or 80. It doesn't matter. Health is still ultimately important. So I'd like to thank Dr. Knight for coming on the program this morning. Thank you, because it's earlier where he is than where I am. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you ever so much, sir. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to see you. What's the overview of making sure that we are being able to maintain and gain health?
Wow, that's a good one. Well, first I want to thank you, Willie, for extending this offer, and I appreciate your generosity in that. And to touch on your question, the overall basics of our obtaining health, number one is, first of all, we have it. We have life. We already have it. Now, what happens is it's stolen from us because we get into some beliefs and values and education, things like that robs us of the awareness of our awareness. And there's no focus or attention given to health. So we not voluntarily, but we neglect it. So we become ignorant. We rely on the outside and organizations and foundations. We get lost. Our health gets lost. We get wrapped up in so many outside things, and we don't channel our attention, and responsibility gets lost for our maintaining and just understanding what we have.
So what are some of the basic principles that we should be looking at? Because we have to look inward to the health that we already have. What are some of the basic principles we can start looking at, or we should be looking at?
Okay, well, we know them. It's pretty intrinsic. If I mention it, you'll say, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
elementary school. Yeah, I remember.
Water, food. But see, the value of food gets lost because it's the nutrition that we want to extract, that the body, without even our thinking about it, extracts the nutrition from the food. But we think of food. Oh, I want that steak. I want this, that, and the other. But the body actually wants the nutrition from the food. So oxygen. We need to have oxygen to breathe.
Yeah, you mentioned oxygen. It's interesting you mentioned oxygen. There are studies that are saying that for all sorts of reasons, the oxygen level that we learned was in air when we were kids is not as much as it now as it was then. We learned that the oxygen in the air was 21%, and now we're learning that it's probably less than 20. So people are getting less oxygen than they did before. And you already know, and you can correct me, and we can have this discussion in a future episode. There are some things like cancer that live in um, anaerobic environments. Anaerobic meaning not aerobic, but anaerobic environments that have less oxygen in it. So oxygen is super, super important. And
Absolutely.
that leads to the next set of things that you called health essentials.
Yep. Yeah. So, health essential stems from the principles and laws of life. We're faced with it, constantly, and that has to do with stress and exercise. Yeah, those are the basics. Stress is all the time, is all around us, but the body has an amazing ability to adapt to stress. So our response to stress determines whether stress is positive, is received positively or negatively in our bodies. So stress goes a long way into curtailing or shaping our tolerance and ability to meet the challenges in life.
Understand, understand. And because a lot of things in our existence can be stressful. And we continuously see the negative impact of stress, and we continually hear about the negative impact of stress. But you've also heard about the times where the mother was super stressed and was able to pick up the back of the car and get it off her youngster, and that she would have
Yes.
never been able to do that had she not been under that kind of stress. So there are ways to handle it.
So
Here's another one that I want to deal with, especially in the age of COVID. The functional level of nutrition, things like vitamin D and omega oils and water,
right,
taking
right.
time off of eating, let your body heal. Um,
hmm
well, that sounds cool until I call it fasting. You're like, oh, I don't want to do that. That means not eating. Yeah, that means not eating. Kind of. So let's
Yeah,
talk
who
about the
likes to?
funk. Nobody goes, oh, I can't wait to not eat for 5 days.
Exactly.
Nobody does that.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the function level of nutrition and things like vitamin D. Vitamin D is especially important in the course of in the age of COVID.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's vitamin D is very closely associated with our immune system. So it's actually a hormone. So it feeds so many reactions in our body. So very crucial and necessary. The body makes it, but it needs the sunshine in order to do that. So our lifestyle is not. We don't farm too much. There's only 1% of the country farms, and not very many people work outdoors. So the vitamin D levels across the board are very low. So that impacts again our immune systems. We talk about COVID. Some of the studies I read that people's reaction to COVID, if they have low vitamin D levels, they're more susceptible to that virus. So we go to vitamin D, we go to the omegas 3, 6, and 9. These are the essential oils of the body. The body does not make these essential oils, and so we have to get them from the outside. But in our diet, we are over emphasized with omega 6s and 9s. So we have a deficit of 3s. 3s is the quality oils, the virgin olive oils, the fish oils. Krill oils is a really high quality oil. But then we can talk about grapeseed oil and cooking oils. Many of the quality oils do not have the high tolerance needed in cooking. So when we cook with these quality oils, like olive oil, for example, it loses the molecular structure of the olive oil changes into a foreign substance that the body doesn't recognize, and the body goes into an inflammatory response. And if this occurs over and over again, then we have a chronic situation on hand, and it leads to many different things, sensitivities, allergies, this, that, and the other thing. So it's important. Vitamin D and the omega-3s, the quality oils and the cooking oils to have a high tolerance, like grapeseed oil, avocado oil, coconut oil. These have a high heat tolerance.
Gotcha. And of course, making sure, and we hear this all the time, making sure that we drink enough water, and the right kinds of water, obviously. And we'll talk about that later. And of course, and I think we're going to do a whole segment on just fasting, how to fast, how to get on a fast, and as importantly, how to get off a fast safely, and what a fast actually is. So we're going to talk about that too in a future episode. I want to get to customizing your professional care, because there's been a lot of talk for a decade about what medical care is and what insurance and all these things that involve medical care. You have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things that you say that you should customize your care, and I'm guessing you should probably do some of each of these to address each of the issues that the body has.
Well, you don't have to do all of them, but what I tried to outline.
Good, because I don't want to do acupuncture. I want to do it, doctor. I don't want to do it. And I know what people say, it doesn't hurt, but I don't want to do it. So I can go ahead and cross that one off.
That's okay. That's okay. Most of the professional cares out there, we don't want to do.
I don't want to do acupuncture. I'm just going to tell you that right this very second.
Okay. Well, I hate needles myself.
No, it seems crazy.
But I had acupuncture done, and it was painless. And it's another philosophy which has been around for thousands of years now, and it's just something, like you said, fasting. Who wants to fast? But we fast naturally. When we sleep, that's why it's good. It's important to get sleep. That's another principle. You're not eating. Break breakfast, fast.
Breaking the fast. I got you.
Breaking the fast. So, but it's very healthy fasting, and that's why we can go into it. And it's biblical. It's not, Christ says, when you fast, not should you.
Should you fast? If you happen to fast.
When you fast.
If you feel like fasting.
Yeah. So we want to break it down, like you said, in the future episode. We want to break it down to make it easier for people to comprehend and understand what we're doing and what our body's going through. So in this way, it may help us to extend that breakfast.
There you go. So when you talk about professional care, we're talking about medical care, chiropractic care, yoga, of course, acupuncture, which I'm not doing, fitness, and massage.
Right.
In those, I just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things.
Yes.
Do you think that people should do or try to do all of them as part of their customized professional care, or just the ones that fit their lifestyle or whatever?
Well, you should be exposed to them at least. One thing is that medical care is it's the most powerful license. Medical MD, it's the most powerful license to have, and it's very rampant in our society. Everywhere you turn, you're looking at commercials and things like that. Medications, drugs, the institution medical institution is huge, and so it's a preponderance. So, but chiropractic is number two, but it's 7 to 11% of the population sees chiropractic. And now you have yoga, acupuncture, massage is growing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's growing now. Fitness. Okay, Jack LaLanne started the fitness craze.
Jack
right?
LaLanne.
Yeah,
Wow.
Jack.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an old reference. Jack LaLanne. Wow.
Well, you know, he was a chiropractor. Jack LaLanne was a chiropractor.
Was he really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you know, that's a testimony to the body's adaptability. Medical, chiropractic, yoga, thousands of years, right? Yogis, meditation, massage. So a lot of these things have been around a good deal of time.
Yes.
And the practice of it just has, you know, kind of gravitate to certain things. You know, I had some yoga instructors come in to do classes, so I learned about it. There's now they have the YouTube channels. You know, you can search that and check it out. You know, we could talk about the martial arts. That's another, you know, it's fascinating practice. Adaptability of the body, breaking boards and doing all kinds of things. Jack LaLanne would tow yachts.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Amazing feats of strength, especially as he got older. I remember.
Yeah, it's amazing. So when we talk about fitness, all these medical professional cares, these are the experts in these areas. How about these? There's medical cures. You know, the medical technology today is amazing. Transplants and cloning and stem cells, all these different things. Just, you know, heart transplants. Come on.
Yeah, really.
It's amazing, right?
It is amazing.
Yeah. So massage, you know, massage is very beneficial. Acupuncture is beneficial, you know, fitness. So it's not that you have to do all of them, but, you know, find something that works for you. And then you have a tool and you have something that you know, you can turn to when it's necessary.
Sounds good. And the last thing that we're talking about today is removing obstacles, things that are keeping you stuck. In your practice, what's the biggest thing that kept people where they were? The one thing that kept people where they were. There you go.
Between the ears.
There you
Between
go.
the ears.
We are often our worst enemy.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have to change, adaptability, challenges. We talk about stress, all these areas. We don't want to do them fasting. We don't want to do them going to the gym, you know, all these different things. We just can't be, you know, in our bubbles, you know, we can't just live within our bubbles. We have to get out and extend beyond the envelope, you know, and we can. That's where we grow and we find meaning in life, and we can look back and say, "Oh boy, this is I did this, did that, how that happened, how this happened," and we see we're writing our stories, you know, our life stories, and what we leave for our families and culture, everybody. We can learn from these things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, it's normally how we formulate things here first is how they work out, not only in our own bodies, but in the lives of other people. How are people going to be able to follow you? I know that you have an extensive Facebook following and an extensive Facebook presence. How can people follow you on these platforms?
That's a good question. I don't know. Well, we did formulate a Facebook group, True Health, and if you look for that, you can find that.
Okay. True Health.
True Health. I'm also in Dr. Gary Knight, Instagram.
Okay. So we have Dr. Gary on Instagram. We have True Health on Facebook. These are ways that you can follow Dr. Knight. Dr. Knight is now issuing challenges. He's flexing on y'all, issuing challenges that you can participate in, so you can learn about these things. And it won't be just a quick 5 minutes. He goes in the depth, gives you an opportunity to learn and understand what you're participating in. And we're going to continue to have him on the program, hopefully every week. We're going to expand some of the things we've talked about already. So we're looking forward to it. Dr. Knight, actually, thank you so much for spending a little time with us this morning. We really appreciate you and your family. Give everybody where you are a hug for me, and we'll see you again next week.
Certainly will. Well, thank you again.
It is my honor.